Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international conference. Welcome you all to the international conference on global parents, bicycle, fishing, environment, food safety, nutrition, oceans, biodiversity, ecosystems, awareness, education, health, well-being, and sustainable development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns, and also commemorating Global Day of Parents, World Bicycle Day, the National Day of Innocent Children, Victims of Aggression, World Environment Day, the National Day for
scavenger hunts. There's a lot of
World Environment Day, International Day for the fight against illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. Russian Language Day, World Food Safety Day, World Ocean Day, and many more international, national, regional commemorations and celebrations in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences, and Wellbeing. So before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
The blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations and celebrations of World Environment Day and various other commemorations for the day. Today, we are celebrating World Environment Day on every 5th of June. With the theme, Our Land, Our Future. All over the world, ecosystems are threatened from forests and drylands to farmlands and lakes. Natural resources Natural spaces on which humanity exists depends on reaching a tipping point. According to the UN Convention to Combat Desertification, up to 40% of the planet's land is degraded, directly affecting half of the world's population. The number and duration of droughts has increased by 29% since 2000. Without urgent action, droughts may affect over 3/4 of the world's population by 2050. Land restoration is a key pillar of the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration 2021 to 2030. A rallying call for the protection and revival of ecosystems all around the world, which is official to achieve sustainable development goals. This is why World Environment Day 2024 focuses on land restoration, halting desertification, and building drought resilience. Under the slogan, Our Land, Our Future, we are generation restoration. We cannot turn back time, but we can grow forest, revive water sources, and bring back black soils. So this is why World Environment Day 2024 focuses on land restoration, halting desertification, and building drought resilience under the slogan, Our Land, Our Future. We cannot turn back time, but we can grow forest, revive water sources, and bring back soils. We are the generation that can make peace with land. 2024 will mark the 30th anniversary of the UN Convention to Combat Desertification, the 16th session of the Conference of the Parties, COP16, to the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, UNCCD, will be held in Saudi capital, Riyadh, from December 2nd to 30th, 2024. So, what is World Environment Day? Why we need to take part in it and why we need to celebrate it? Right? Why we need to celebrate? Okay. Led by the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, and held annually on 5th June. Since 1973, World Environment Day is the largest global platform for environmental public outreach and is celebrated by millions of people across the world. In 2024, it is hosted by Saudi Arabia. So time is running out and nature is in emergency mode to protect itself from various adversity, especially from humans and human activities. To keep global warming below 1.5% this century, we must have annual greenhouse gas emissions by half by 2030. Without action and exposure to air pollution beyond safe guidelines will increase by 50% within the decade, and plastic waste flowing into aquatic ecosystems will nearly triple by 2040. And we need urgent action to address these pressing issues. So join the generation restoration movement through World Environment Day 2024 initiatives. You can access more information and the various action can carry out to contribute as well as various kinds of support that is available. Every performance, no matter how small, it matters. So we should not look, actually we see with many people, they always aspire for large numbers. See, not everyone can get that kind of large number. And not every time. Even we have seen where we have people around 10,000 plus, and we have seen people where 5 or 10. But that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter in the sense, even if one person is there, that matters a lot. Quality is more important than quantity. Sometimes, it's like having a small meeting which have personalized focus, or having a huge meeting like political meetings where lakhs of people are assembled together. Which one you would like to prefer? So we generally prefer a limited participation. That is where quality comes. If you have too many people, then automatically what will happen? The quantity increases, but the quality comes down because of too many distractions. Of course, it may reach masses, but there are other ways also where we can reach masses. For example, after this, the proceedings will reach masses. The recordings will reach masses. So it doesn't matter at this moment how many we are reaching, but it will reach to a larger extent because every one of you will be discussing one or more topics in your academic or practical settings, or even in your family neighborhoods. Because this is very important. And we should not wait for a huge number or a large number. Even if you have, or even if you can create an impact on one person, then you should not leave that opportunity. You should utilize, leverage the opportunity and do whatever you can to promote environment. So it is not always number that matters, because numbers always matter, but that's where we cannot wait for that numbers. Before we wait, it might be too late. Too late beyond we can do something, or too late beyond restoration. Maybe too late beyond reversal. So that's why the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration focuses on 8 major types of ecosystems that have been dangerously degraded, and each can be restored by reducing the pressure they face within, on the ground, action to prevent their recovery. We will also see various challenges and opportunities for each ecosystem. And we can go through the scientific flagship report and the ecosystem restoration playbook. Now, you might be wondering how land degradation impacts climate change. Land plays a key role in climate system as an essential carbon sink because its surfaces, such as forests, regulate the planet's temperature and help to store carbon. But our land is under increasing pressure from deforestation, urbanization, industrial development, and so on. So with this, what is happening? And unsustainable farming practices. The good news is there are also ways to improve land degradation. We'll also go through it. We'll look at it on various aspects. When we look at the background of this World Environment Day, a movement that arose in the 70s, the year 1972, marked a turning point in the development of international environmental politics. The first major conference on environmental issues, convened under the auspices of the United Nations, was held from June 5th to 16th in Stockholm, Sweden, known as the Conference on the Human Environment or the Stockholm Conference. Its goal was to forge a basic common outlook on how to address the challenges of preserving and enhancing the human environment. Later that year, on 15 December, the General Assembly adopted a resolution 2994 designating June 5th as World Environment Day and urging governments and organizations in the United Nations system to undertake on that day every year worldwide activities reaffirm their concern for the preservation and enhancement of the environment. With a view of deepening environmental awareness and to pursuing the determination expressed at the conference, the date coincides with the first day of landmark conference. Also on 15 December, the General Assembly adopted an offer or another resolution 2997 that led to the creation of the United Nations Environment Program, UNEP, and the Specialized Agency on Environmental Issues. Since the first celebration in 1973, World Environment Day has helped UNEP to raise awareness and generate political momentum around growing concerns such as the depletion of the ozone layer, toxic chemicals, desertification, and physical global warming. The day has developed into a global platform for taking action on urgent environmental issues. Millions of people have been taken part over the years, helping drive change in our consumption habits, as well as in national and international environmental policy. So we'll look at a few videos.
Without protecting environment from excessive use, without protecting biodiversity, without protecting land, we will basically suffer significantly environmentally, economically, and socially.
In some terrains, degradation could reach up to 70%. Under the SGI, the Saudi Green Initiative, by 2030 will reach to around 400 million trees.
Vision 2030 assigned high priority to environmental protection. So you cannot have a sustainable development without environmental protection. And land is at the heart of environmental protection.
بالنسبة للمدرجات المائية اللي نسويها في المنتنزه، هذه قديمة ماخذينها من الأجداد، لها 400 عام موجودة في البلد القديم، فهذه تهدي من السيل وتوزع السيل على المزارع بالتقسيم ولا تسبب انجراف في التربة، فطبقناها في المنتزه وناجحة، وزادت حتى المياه السطحية، زادت المياه السطحية المنسوب.
We are also using technologies such as satellites and drones, especially in monitoring and measuring the development and the health condition of the plants in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
كان فيها طيور ما نعرفها منقرضة من زمان واستعادت مع أثر الحماية، والوعي تغير من ناحية النظافة، من ناحية المحافظة على البيئة، تشجير وتجريف تربة، كلها إن شاء الله في تغير وتحسن بإذن الله.
معاش دا خو به خنوس قرار ده د جیمی غنم چې د جیمی فصل چې وکړو هغه نیمایي رسوي سي نیمایي نسو هغه رسوي جرته منظور کړه دیواله راتوالی هم ځوانان په کار رااله ډیر مجن راځي ډیر خوشاله چې ځوانان په کار اختصوله او هم ځکه هم د سیلاب د ولس محفوظ شي هم کانال د سیلاب د ولس
jaya koro ndo mana kam na da muru bare umuju ko woni kidinga tuda da mun bare ko dum tono may koro da mun niya ale mana bo ya dem ada na bo kare kana di woni olo mana dio kicakati ya wana be na bala.
El impacto de la deforestación ha sido negativo, definitivamente. Es por eso que las comunidades indígenas han tenido un grito de alerta.
La importancia es para proteger el bosque, que nos ayuda y nos beneficia no solo a mí como persona o como aguajún, sino nos beneficia en general, ¿no? A todos.
Energy is indispensable to our lives. We need energy to move around, produce our food, power our homes, businesses, just about everything else. To tackle the climate crisis, we have to transition our entire energy system from fossil fuels to renewable energy and increase energy efficiency. This also means making more sustainable choices in our daily lives by reducing our own carbon footprints, as well as supporting policies that promote sustainable energy in all areas of life. This is a monumental task, but it is possible. Solar and wind energy are now the cheapest forms of energy available, and they can help us cut costs while drastically reducing emissions. They can also enable us to extend energy access to remote communities, power livelihoods, improve education, and even save lives through critical services like healthcare. In this episode of Climate Action Explained, we're inviting you on a trip around the world, from Uruguay to Bosnia and Herzegovina to Zimbabwe. Come and see how different countries are working on climate solutions in the energy sector.
As a district hospital, 24/7, we have to be able to operate on a pregnant woman who needs cesarean sections. We have to be able to deliver all the complicated cases in a well-lit environment. All of this need electricity.
So across the country, we've got more than 1,000 facilities that have benefited from the Solar for Health. We are aiming at improving the health services that are given at the facilities in the country. In addition to that, looking at mitigating the things that affect our climate, getting energy from solar, which is a clean source of energy, help us reduce emissions, and we get a more affordable energy source.
All those vaccines, those medications, they need a stable temperature of +2 to +8 degrees Celsius, which can only be assured by the refrigerators running on electricity 24/7. So I can certainly say that it has been a game changer. And in terms of evidence, we now have fewer maternal mortality cases.
Solar yakatipa advantage yakawanda pakuti haina kufanana nemagetsi anoti anomboenda zvikatora 2 days zvakadaro zvinova kuti mafiriji edu kocheni yakaafectiwa, but nesolar manje hatichina matambudziko akadaro.
Matambudziko aivako ndekuti kana ndauya kuzobatsirwa kulabor uku pamwe kusina magetsi togona kunzi tengai makendi umuye nawo kuti ugowana kubatsirwa zvakanaka. Pamwe unenge uchida kuitwa sisa zvobva zvado kukanganisa, pamwe utakurwa wendiwa newe kune chimwe chipatara apawo zvingorwadziwa.
Kurapiwa kwose nyangwe mushonga ukauya pausiku unorapiwa. Nyangwe ndiko kuti operation usiku unorapiwa. Matambudziko atakanga tinawo hatisisina kubva zvakauya magetsi.
We are a heavily fossil fuel dependent country, which actually causes air pollution, which causes huge greenhouse gas emissions, and there is an immediate need to react upon that. Decarbonization is absolute priority of Bosnia and Herzegovina energy sector. It can be best and easily achieved by energy efficiency and switch to renewable energy sources. UNDP in Bosnia and Herzegovina is actively working with private sector and actually how to increase their capacities to embrace this green transition. Results are seen immediately via reduction of energy, financial savings, creation of green jobs, and then reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. Almost 76% of our greenhouse gas emissions come from energy sector. Benefits of energy efficiency measures are huge. So far, we have contributed to energy efficiency measures in almost 300 public buildings.
Javna ustanova Dječji vrtić Larisa Šugić se bavi predškolskim vaspitanjem i obrazovanjem. Dakle, djelatnost mu je cjelodnevna briga o djeci. Često nam se dešavalo da na krov prokišnjava, čime smo imali velike probleme jer ipak su u objektu. Pored toga imali smo dosta problema sa peć koju smo prije 6 godina primjenom mjera energetske efikasnosti dobili smo značajne uštede u budžetu. Znači, ona sredstva koja smo prije, pa na zgradi je prije svega urađen novi krov. Urađena je izolacija iznad stropova, urađeni su novi stropovi, zamijenjene su instalacije od struje, zamijenjena su rasvjetna tijela novim energetski efikasnim rasvjetnim tijelima, zamijenjena je stolarija i jedan dio kuhinje je renoviran, odnosno obloge pločice u kuhinji. Uslovi u objektu su sada mnogo bolji, djeca mogu boraviti u zajedničkim prostorijama i u sobama i nemamo više onaj problem da nismo postigli optimalnu temperaturu u radnim prostorijama.
La primera vez que subí en un ómnibus eléctrico fue una experiencia formidable, ¿no? De venir en un vehículo que de repente tenía un ruido en el motor grande y subirse a un coche de esto y prenderlo y de repente no saber si está prendido el coche o no, es espectacular.
Around 95% of the energy generated today is coming from renewable energies. But the country has also decided to move forward in other sectors, and special attention has been taken for the transportation, which as of today represents around 41% of the emissions. MOVES has a very clear objective to work in promoting low carbon, efficient and inclusive mobility. Through incentives provided by the state of Uruguay, 32 buses were purchased.
Porque estos vehículos tienen la capacidad de regenerar energía. Si el conductor realiza algunas serie de modalidades a la hora de la conducción, esa energía que se produce a través de la rueda vuelven de vuelta a la batería. Se puede regenerar aproximadamente un 30% de la carga que puede tener el coche.
que justo en el momento de que esas energías renovables se están produciendo, como puede ser los generadores eólicos o las represas hidroeléctricas, eso es energía que hoy por hoy no se puede acumular. La movilidad eléctrica pasa a ser una excelente oportunidad para acumular en ese momento la energía, en esos vehículos, en esas baterías, y que podamos brindar no solamente un transporte mucho más amigable con el medio ambiente, sino que ser eficiente utilizando esa energía que el país es una gran inversión, poder utilizarla en los momentos de que no es tan redituable para el resto de la población.
Porque yo vivo en el medio de la ciudad y subirme a un ómnibus que no haga ruido, por más que parezca algo menor, para mí es como un momento como para bajar un poco. En el futuro me gustaría ver una ciudad con más ómnibus eléctricos, con menos ruido y con más posibilidades de transporte para bicicletas, caminatas, etc.
Estamos ahora en curso con un llamado internacional para la compra de 100 nuevos buses eléctricos para poder dar una primera etapa al 2024, apuntando, como te había mencionado, a la renovación del 25% para el 2025.
Ser parte de este cambio es tratar de dejarle un poquito a las nuevas generaciones, dejarle un poquito a nuestros hijos un país mejor.
As these examples show us, we have the answers to fight climate change and build a better, safer future. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, check out the rest of our series in the links below. What do you think about these solutions? Please let us know in the comments. Thank you.
Humankind. Ours is not a short story. It's an epic tale written over eons. I, the Earth, have known you over hundreds of thousands of years. I've witnessed your achievements, your ingenuity, your pain. You are the first generation to fully understand my suffering, and you might be the last that could see my lands revived. To all generations, the adventurers, the pioneers, the thinkers, and the dreamers, to all of you, let's find common ground in what unites us. Restore my lands for future generations. A tree begins with a seed. Generation restoration begins with you.
Indus has been supporting the civilization for more than 5,000 years. It is the backbone of Pakistan. What we are is because of the Indus. So the question really is, are we in a position to support the Indus for the next 100 years?
Yes, we can grow glaciers, and we have the technique. It is purely indigenous technique.
The snow leopard is fully in danger in few years if we cannot control it. So our upcoming generation will not able to see snow leopard.
The flood not only washed out my homes and property, but it had, take off all my childhood memories.
Pakistan is one out of the 10 most impacted countries by climate change. And what that led to really was the culmination of what we're called the Living Indus program, which is an umbrella initiative. It is a call to action. The Indus flows from the north of Pakistan and then goes into the plains of Punjab via KP, and eventually it falls into the south of Pakistan, which is Sindh province, and then eventually into the Arabian Sea. The topography of Pakistan is very diverse. The mountains of Gilgit-Baltistan, the terrain that they offer is different from the terrain or the topography that you would see in Sindh. So the kind of solutions that we're providing through this Indus initiative also have to be contextualized to the particular area. And it entails within it a set of 25 interventions that are aimed towards the ecological restoration of the Indus basin. Because of rising temperatures, there's a high incidence of glacial melting, which gives way to glacial lake formation. Now, these glacial lakes are held by natural barriers, which, if in an unlikely event weaken up, they turn into what we call a glacial lake outburst flood, which is a huge influx of water and debris and has devastating impacts on communities, on their infrastructure, on their livelihoods, on their properties. The GLOF program is one of the key interventions under the Living Indus program, and what it really looks at is increasing the community's capacity to respond to a disaster like GLOF.
Yeah, SHHFI Glacier, many of you know about it. It's very near to us. And there are possibilities that it will burst someday and it will take all the water which is inside the glacier, and it may take all our homes and all those things. Here you can see the plain places. It was not plain. It used to be our home here. It was a sunny day, and I went for my school, and when everything was normal. But when I came back to my home, I've seen that nothing was normal. Suppose if we are in our homes and the flood came, what will we do? But having sirens, alarms, and protective walls, slowing down the time of that flood, and in that time, in that instant, we will get out of the home and we will rush to a safer place. Because the thing is that it's not all about, saving your property and your homes. It's the thing that you have to save yourself. Your own self is more important.
Primarily, the GLOF program looks at community-based disaster risk management. It looks at flood protection walls, and it looks at a very important aspect of the GLOF is the early warning systems, which is a system that indicates to the communities before time prior to a disaster occurring, so the communities are prepared in multiple ways.
For me, the special thing about this place is the mountains and the natural beauty. Everything is fresh and real here.
You will. I've accelerated. They will run.
We do have a number of interventions that contribute to the wildlife conservation. So one of the great and pertinent examples of wildlife conservation is in Gilgit-Baltistan. It's one of the community-centric and people-centric approaches that is being used, which eventually generates income for the communities.
So the wildlife is very important for the community because the peoples are protecting them because they get good money from wildlife. They utilized it in their villages on different things like in education purpose, in agriculture purpose, or in another disaster something happens, so they use it in that ways. So wildlife has a good role in our community.
This is snow leopard species, and this is fresh one, and this one is old one. Old one. This is one, and the second family member they cross.
Actually, the snow leopard is showing the direction to their families, for their cubs and for the other members of his family. He's showing that he's going direction of downward.
This region is known as the third pole because of the largest glaciated region after poles. And glaciers are the most fragile sufferers of climate change. When we say glacier melting, it is the source of water that feeds all downstream populations. If there is no more there, then we can see the consequences. And secondly, flooding will be higher. Because of that melting, glacier lakes will be formed. And if, God forbid, any of the glacier lake is burst out, then we can see a huge disastrous flood.
ये मैं बता रहा था कि यहाँ पर हमारे पहले के ग्लेशियर थे वो काफ़ी नीचे थे, बड़े थे। तो मेरे ज़िंदगी में ये जो है वो काफ़ी घट के कम हो गए हैं, छोटे हो गए। यहाँ पर 80% जो है पानी इसी ग्लेशियर से पैदा होते हैं। यहाँ पर कोई चश्मा नहीं है, कोई नाला नहीं है। वो ग्लेशियर के पानी से ये आबादी जो है, ये खेतों में जो है हरियाली आती है, फसलें उगती है और लोगों का रोजगार हो जाते हैं, लोगों के लिए रिज़्क़ का बंदोबस्त हो जाते हैं। तो 80% जो है पानी का दारोमदार हमारे ग्लेशियर पर है। इसलिए हम चाहते हैं कि कोई ग्लेशियर ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा हो और जो है वो महफूज हो।
So through various interventions under the Living Indus, we're aiming to address the issue of water scarcity. Glacial grafting and ice stupas are the two techniques that address the issue of water scarcity.
So glacial grafting is in fact nurturing ice mass in high mountains where the conditions are favorable. We look for permafrost and then put ice masses there. So there's grafting.
ये चीज़ें जो है फ्री होती है, तो ये जो है ये इस वाला ये साइड हमारे आबा अजदाद ने इसको ग्राफ्ट करके बड़े करके रखे हैं और हम इसकी अगर हिफाजत ना करें, इसको देखभाल ना करें, तो ये गट्टे गट्टे चले जाएंगे, तो फिर यहाँ परेशानियाँ काफ़ी बढ़ जाती हैं। तो मैं समझता हूँ कि ये ग्राफ्टिंग जो अगर उन्होंने ये करके गए हैं तो हम इसकी हिफाजत करें। तो उस वक्त हम छोटे लेवल पर काम करते थे, अभी ये ग्राफ्टिंग जो है वो बड़े लेवल की है, हाई लेवल के काम है। अभी ये करते हैं कि हम ये कोई बड़ा सा काम करें, तो ये छोटे मोटे काम तो दूसरे लोग भी करते हैं, तो हम कहते हैं कि थोड़ा सा अपग्रेड कोई काम करें और ज़्यादा ज़्यादा बेहतर हो जाए। इनकी देखभाल करें, इसको मज़ीद एक्सटेंड करें, इसको मज़ीद फैलाएँ, ताकि हमारे बाद आने वाली नस्ल को कोई परेशानी ना हो और हम कुछ करके जाएं ताकि उनके लिए काम आए और हमारे लिए कोई काम आए।
If we are able to grow a glacier, then it means we are able to support the glaciers melting rapidly. We are contributing in populating the glaciers. the ice masses, making the dry mountains green again, and harvest water.
We have been able to restore 1.3 million hectares through various interventions and restoration activities like reforestation, afforestation, protected area interventions. And going forward, we're aiming to restore about 25 million hectares of the basin, which form around 40% of the Indus Basin. We've been able to create around 82,000 green jobs in this initiative, but moving forward, we're hoping to create another 200,000 jobs by 2030. Not only are we looking at programs and policies, we're also looking at igniting a movement of different voices which can be used to save the Indus for today and for tomorrow.
This area of Pakistan, it is called the roof of the world. Highest peaks over here. The most beautiful thing is the people.
ग्लेशियर एक मुक़द्दस एक मखलूक है, वो भी जिस तरह से हम जिंदा है उसकी भी थोड़ी सी ज़िंदगी नज़र आती है। अगर कोई अच्छी बात हुई और हमने उसके क्या नाम है उसके तक़द्दुस का ख्याल रखा तो वो बढ़ता जाता है और वो ठीक रहता है।
All the time I'm thinking, oh, I will go to the mountain again and I will start snow leopard, I will feel cold. It is feel very happy.
This is the place where you can experience love, joy, silence, snow-capped mountains, and this is a very tranquil place and it's a very beautiful place.
बहुत खुश होता हूँ मैं अपने काम से, बहुत खुश हूँ और मैं काम करके बहुत मुझे मुतमईन होती है, खुशी होती है और चाहता हूँ कि और भी काम करूँ क्योंकि इंसानियत के लिए और लोगों के लिए, मुआशरे के लिए और वतन के लिए, दुनिया के लिए कोई अच्छा सा काम करें, हम मर जाएं हमारे काम जिंदा रहे, हम यही चाहते हैं।
I'm a boomer. Of course, my preferred screen time is the big one, the 4K, against the wall.
I'm a supermodel. Of course, I get to wear designer clothes. I am a rapper, Frida Amani. Of course, I'm great with the mic like I invented it.
And I'm a member of Gen X, so of course I'm pessimistic and over it and cynical.
I'm a working mother, so of course I don't answer phone calls when I'm with my son.
But I'm also Generation Restoration.
But I'm also Generation Restoration.
I'm also Generation Restoration.
I'm a key supporter in Generation Restoration.
So of course I am inspiring people to become environmental protectors.
Using my rhymes
to help raise awareness about the climate crisis.
让更多的人关注环境问题. So of course it is up to all of us to take action.
We are Generation Restoration.
Somos Generación Restauración.
We are Generation
Restoration.
I'm asking everyone to join the movement to restore our planet. We are Generation Restoration.
Land is the pillar for terrestrial biodiversity.
Some of the problem really impacting the oryx. Desertification is number one, so there is no green coverage. Second, hunting, plus other factors.
You cannot have a sustainable development without environmental protection.
أهداف المركز يقوم المركز بدعم الجهود المحافظة على الأنواع الفطرية المهددة بالانقراض بهدف إعادة توطينها في بيئتها الطبيعية، وكذلك سحب العينات للقيام بالفحوصات البيطرية للتأكد من سلامة وصحة القطيع.
targeting the affected habitats by man. And we are targeting to do the rehabilitations programs in these affected habitats to retain back the equilibrium to the ecosystems.
والله كان حلم من الطفولة، يعني أن أكون طبيب بيطري فيه لا توصف. يعني لما نشوف الحيوان يطلق في الطبيعة شيء جميل الصراحة يعني.
Today, we are also commemorating International Day for the fight against illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing on 5th June every year. The toll of illegal, unreported, and unregulated fisheries provide a vital source of food, employment, recreation, trade, and economic well-being for people throughout the world. In a world of growing population and persistent hunger, fish has emerged as an important commodity for the achievement of food security. However, efforts by the international community to ensure the sustainability of fisheries are being seriously compromised by illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing activities. According to the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing activities are responsible for the loss of 11 to 26 million tons of fish each year, which is estimated to have an activities are responsible for the loss of 11 to 26 million tons of fish each year, which is estimated to have an economic value of US dollars 10 to 23 billion. So to curtail this impact, Target 4 of Goal 14 of the Sustainable Development Agenda, adopted in 2015 by the United Nations General Assembly, specifically urged the international community to effectively regulate harvesting and end overfishing, illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing and destructive fishing practices by 2020. Meeting this ambitious target requires strong awareness, raising efforts to draw the attention of general public to the negative impacts of illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing activities, an activity in which FAO has been actively engaged. Meeting this ambitious target requires strong awareness, raising efforts to draw the attention of the general public, the negative impacts of illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing activities, an activity in which FAO has been actively engaged. To promote long-term conservation and sustainable use of fisheries, the resources, the 1995 FAO conference adopted the FAO Code of Conduct for Responsible Fisheries. The code is voluntary and sets out principles and international standards of behavior for responsible practices with a view to ensuring the effective conservation, management, and development of living aquatic resources with due respect for the ecosystem and biodiversity. In 2009, the FAO conference adopted the Agreement of Port State Measures to prevent, deter, and eliminate illegal, unreported, and unregulated ship fishing. The agreement is binding and stipulates minimum port state measures to prevent, deter, and eliminate illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. It entered into force on 5th June 2016. So it is estimated that 1 in every 5 fish caught comes from IUU fishing, that is international, unregulated, and unreported fishing. When such fish ends up on our plates, we are unwitting accomplices in unsustainable and often criminal practices that are damaging our future well-being and sustainability of our planet. But we can help change that. So when we look at the background of this day, 2015, the General Fisheries Commission for the Mediterranean of the FAO proposed that an initiative to be launched to declare International Day for the fight against illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. Following extensive consultations, a group was submitted to the attention of the 32nd session of a FAO Committee on Fisheries. The Committee of Fisheries endorsed the proposal for the declaration of 5th June as the International Day for the fight against illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. The day reflects the day when the Port State Measures Agreement officially entered into force as an international treaty. The entry into force of this agreement marks an historical event, as it is the first internationally legally binding instrument specially devoted to the fight against illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. The proposed draft resolution was submitted to the 40th session of the FAO Conference, July 2017, for approval. In December 2017, the UN General Assembly, in its annual resolution on sustainable fisheries, proclaimed 5th June as the International Day for the fight against illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. In the same resolution, the UN also declared 2022 as the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture, which will help focus attention on the small-scale fishermen and women who comprise 90% of the world fisheries workforce. Illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing is a broad term that captures a variety of fishing activities. IUU fishing is found in all types of dimensions of fisheries. It occurs both on the high seas and in areas with natural jurisdiction. It concerns all aspects and stages of the capture and utilization of fish, and it may sometimes be associated with organization and organized crimes. IUU fishing undermines national and regional efforts to conserve and manage fish stocks, and as a consequence, inhibits progress towards achieving the goals of long-term sustainability and responsibility. The State of World Fisheries and Aquaculture reviews the world status of fisheries and aquaculture, as well as the pillars of the Blue Transformation, focusing on intensifying and expanding aquaculture, improving fisheries management, and innovating fisheries and agriculture value chains. Blue Transformation emphasized the need for forward-looking and bold actions to be launched or accelerated in coming years to achieve the objectives of the declaration and in support of the 2030 agenda. Let's watch a short video.
On this International IUU Day, Papua New Guinea is reaffirming its commitment to eradicating illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing practices in our waters and around the Pacific. The government of Papua New Guinea, through the National Fisheries Authority, has made many notable achievements towards this goal. Utilizing a combination of state-of-the-art technologies and training mechanisms for our people, we have been proactive and stood our ground against this persistent and relentless plague on our fisheries sector. However, our historical achievement must not define our aspirations. And as IUU increases in our region and methods of IUU modernize and become more sophisticated, so too must our initiatives to stop and eradicate it. As custodians of territorial waters that span over 2.4 million square kilometers, that is also geographically situated as gateway to the entire Pacific region, it is our duty and our purpose to ensure our waters are protected and our fish stocks remain healthy and sustainable for future generations. But we cannot do this alone. There is strength in working together, and our commitment towards standing with PSMA is a key example of our collaborating and utilizing for our combined vision of eradicating illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing practices in Papua New Guinea, the Pacific, and furthermore, the globe. Papua New Guinea stands united in our fight towards eradicating IUU. Thank you.
So the world's land, including the mountains, hills, plateaus, and plains, provides vital source services such as oxygen, food, and water that are essential for life. Land is also home to much of the world's biodiversity. Land plays a key role in the climate system as an essential carbon sink because its surfaces, such as forests, regulate the planet's temperature and help to store carbon. In the last decade alone, land-based ecosystems observed around 30% of the carbon emissions generated by human activity, such as burning of fossil fuels. But our land is under increasing pressure from deforestation, urbanization, industrial development, agriculture expansion, and unsustainable farming practices that are undermining its ability to sustain food production, maintain fresh water and forest resources, as well as regulate the climate and air quality. And a changing climate, in turn, exacerbates land degradation through drought, desertification, and other extreme weather events that are increasing in frequency and intensity as the planet gets warmer. Today, up to 40% of the world's land surface has been degrading, including 30% of the cropland and 10% of the pasture. The last 50 years, the area of dry lands in the drought has increased on average by more than 1% per year, affecting mostly countries in Africa and Asia. If we continue to misuse our land, we could degrade a surface area as vast as the size of South America by 2050. When land is degraded, it impacts food security, water availability, and ecosystem health, directly affecting half of humanity and causing the loss of about US $40 trillion worth of ecosystem services each year. Nearly half of the global GDP of $93 trillion in 2021. Land degradation is also considered the single greatest cause of terrestrial biodiversity loss, resulting in the destruction of the habitats of many animals and plants. Severe degradation, such as drought and desertification, can also devastate communities, leading to social and economic instability. Up to 250 million people would be displaced by 2050 as a result of climate change-induced desertification. Land and climate change. How does land degradation impact climate change? It decreases the soil's ability to store carbon. Moreover, when forests are cleared or burnt, they release the carbon they have stored. A 2018 UN report found that deforestation alone contributed about 10% of all human-induced greenhouse gas emissions. Between 2000 and 2009, annual greenhouse gas emissions from degraded land accounted for up to 4.4 billion tons of carbon dioxide emissions. In comparison, the global energy-related CO2 emissions were considered to reach the highest ever level in 2021 in 36.3 billion tons. And as the planet warms, extensive weather events, including longer and more intense droughts, heavier rainfall leading to floods and landslides, and more frequent and intense tropical storms worsen land degradation. The IPCC warns that droughts will lead to soil erosion as well as in reduced crop fields, while floods and landslides can destroy agricultural lands and infrastructures. Tropical storms can uproot trees and damage crops. Heat waves has caused significant agricultural losses, including the world's major breadbasket regions in the last few decades, with major consequences for global food security. Without the efforts to restore and protect land, nearly 70 gigatons more carbon would be emitted by 2050 due to land change and soil degradation, in representing approximately 17% of current annual growth greenhouse gas emissions. So changing the way we use land, investigating in large-scale land restoration is a powerful, cost-effective tool to combat desertification, soil erosion, and loss of agriculture production. As a finite resource and our valuable asset, we cannot afford to continue taking land for granted. The good news is the ways to improve land degradation. One way, through restoration, which includes agroforestry, grazing management, and assisted natural regeneration, and the protection of areas important for biodiversity and the provision of natural resources such as water. Sustainable land degradation practices such as using more efficient irrigation systems and crop routines can protect ecosystems and communities that depend on them, as well as help to regulate local climate patterns, improve water quality, and safeguard biodiversity. So the economic gains from the land restoration, including its impact on emission cuts, the prevention of biodiversity loss, could be significant, amounting to up to $140 trillion per year, which is 50% more than the global GDP in 2020. If we use just $1.6 trillion of the annual amount of $700 billion spent on subsidies for the fossil fuel and agriculture industries over the next 10 years, countries would be able to restore some 1 billion degraded hectares of land, an area the size of United States or China, including 250 million hectares of farmland. Land also has a great potential to provide renewable energy through bioenergy, which is produced from a variety of organic materials such as plant and animal matter. Today, bioenergy is one of the largest sources of renewable energy globally, accounting to 55% of renewable energy and over 6% of global energy supply. It is also an important source of employment, particularly in rural areas. The biofuel sector provides more than 2 million jobs globally and is expected to grow significantly in the coming years. However, high dependence on biomass, even with the development of improved equipment, can contribute to the deforestation, degradation of soil quality, and reduced biodiversity. Let's watch a short video.
Our planet has some incredible magic. Nature has evolved over millennia through a complex interaction of species and ecosystems. But this wondrous world stands threatened. Humans have altered nearly 70% of all ice-free land. Most forests and grasslands are farmlands, poor in the species that made them lush. Land degradation, and where it is, severe desertification affect around 3 billion people worldwide. The UNCCD Land for Life Award recognizes individuals and organizations who advocate and promote land use practices, known as sustainable land management techniques, with significant and positive impacts on people, communities, and society. Nominations come from third parties. Then a jury of prominent people with varied expertise in sustainable land management selects the award winners. Award winners receive a support package to increase their visibility and partnership opportunities. Past award winners, for example, improved the livelihoods of millions of people in India and of farmers and herdsmen in the Kabuchi Desert, China. Improved the farming skills of students in Uganda and smallholder farmers in Mexico. Restored vast forest areas in West Africa. Turned a desert in Egypt into habitable land. Brought degraded land back to productivity in drought-prone Rajasthan and Sahel. Land for Life Award winners are exceptional people. They help to heal our land, create green jobs, and combat climate change. We invite you to be a part of this journey and to celebrate the people and organizations that are making our world livable again.
Today, we are also commemorating Global Running Days. Global Running Day is celebrated on June 5th every year. Whether you are a regular runner or a bit of novice, doesn't matter. This day is about inspiring each other to lead a more active lifestyle. No matter the distance covered, celebration is open and free to anyone. Simply grab the running shoes, bottle of water, and get your legs moving. So Global Running Day started in the United States in 2009, although at the time it was referred to as National Running Day. The inaugural Global Running Day was held on 1st June 2016. On that day, over 2.5 million runners from 177 countries. Moving and be more active and champions, not just physical health benefits of running, but also mental health benefits it can have too, such as reduced anxiety. The Million Kid Run has become a huge part of Global Running Day. This is the youth division of Global Running Day and aims to have covered the 2020 Global Running Day was made more challenging due to COVID-19 global pandemic. With some of the traditional events paused due to social distancing recommendations, many were taking part with a virtual team or participating in the Tag One Challenge on social media. If you are looking for the extra bit of motivation, then look no further. Global Running Day is here to stay, where there is a huge community to give that extra bit of fuel in your feet. So Global Running Day was formerly known as National Running Day. 2014 Boston Marathon winner Meb Kefles led a group run from Boston runways. So the Atlanta Track Club The Atlanta Track Club put a together run around the clock event so that at least one person from the Atlanta area would be running every hour of Global Running Day. In 1990, only 25% of the road race finishers in the US were women. Now the ladies make up more than half of road race finishers. The average men's finishing time in US marathons is 4.26. The average women's finishing time in US marathons is 4:50. So with this, we'll stop it here and we will take up any queries, suggestions, or any presentations. If anyone has, feel free to share. Yeah, Mr. Pradeep, you can go ahead, unmute yourself, start your video and presentation if you have one.
Thank you, Ravindra sir. Very good evening, one and all. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers and also the participants who are making the time for this session. And a very warm welcome you all. And also, I'm wishing you World Environment Day. So my name is Pradeep, and I work in animal welfare advocate. And moreover, I have been having more than 8 years of past 8 years. I've been working in animal welfare field and also in the environment. So I'm also a rabies certified global educator by Global Alliance for Rabies Control, which is one of the governing body, works closely with WHO, World Health Organization. So let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am. Continue.
Yeah, thank you a lot, Ravindra sir, for coming. So today, my topic is about role eco restoration and reviving our planet. So before going to the presentation, I would like to play a small video, like how our Earth has been facing a lot of problems and how we can revive the planet. So it's a video about it. Just a minute. Yeah.
There's no sound.
Now, sir?
Not yet.
So that was about 7 billion dreams. Like how can we preserve our planet, and also we can see that how our planet has been facing a lot of problems. So moving on to further ahead, so World Environment Day. You need to know about its significance. So every June 5th is being celebrated as World Environment Day, and it's one of the international day for the environment led by the United Nations Environmental Program, that is UNEP in short, held annually since 1973. And it's for everyone, the civil society organization, non-governmental organizations, citizens. It's a great platform for environmental outreach. And also it's been celebrated across millions of the people across the world. So every year the UNEP comes with a different theme to conserve our planet. So this year the theme comes with land restoration, desertification, and drought resolutions. And this World Environment Day is hosted by in Dubai. So you can see in the picture also. So what actually is a desertification? So is it a boon or a bane? So let's see in this video. Yeah.
Desertification is a potent trend given land into wasteland. Reduction in green cover, soil erosion, and overuse of water are some of the causes of desertification. Simple, everyday action.
So desertification means every time our land loses its topsoil, and also it loses its fertility. It may be due to the various regions not cultivating the required crops which the soil requires, even other crops which the soil loses its fertility, and also many of the reasons like like industrialization, agriculture, especially intensive animal agriculture practices, and so most of the arable land has been converted into agriculture, where the forest area has been converted into agriculture. So where it poses a significant threat to our biodiversity and also the our nature. So did you know like how much India is using every year our land in desertific land degradation? It's absolutely as per the 2018-19 records. India has been closely about 30% of the India land has been degraded. It is affecting the many types of biodiversity and climate action. You're seeing that a lot uneven temperatures and rainfall. At the same time, which also poses a threat to biodiversity, and which has floods, everything whatnot, which affected a great deal of threat to our environment. So, like 30% of land. And if you see the total geographical area of India, it's around 328.7 million hectares of land. And the land under degradation, it's about 96.4 mega hectares of land. That it's 29.3% of India's total geographical area. If you can compare to the globally, total land area is about 13.2 billion hectares of land, and land degradation is about 4 billion hectares. Although India has been pledging to restore the degraded and deforested land, maybe by 2030, it was about 13 million hectares of land. By 2030, it was about 21 mega hectares of land. Although they have been in Government of India is promoting through its LIFE program, and also UNDP, many of the NGOs, civil society organizations are working towards it. Still, we are facing a lot. Our land has been, I mean to say, the country of India has been facing a multitudes of threats in terms of land degradation. The causes of the desertification and land degradation is overexploitation, extensive use of pesticides, chemical fertilizers in the crop productivity, cultivation of crops, So overgrazing, we can see like in industrial animal agriculture, we used to see that a lot of the land area has been fed to the crop, like livestock, which affects a lot of great deal of damage to the environment. And deforestation, much of the forest area has been cut down, trees has been cut down, and poor irrigation practices. A lot of the time, much of the water has been wasted, and lot of lack of best irrigation practices, which are also affecting a threat to our land degradation. So what would be the solutions for that? It would be the Ravindra has said that forestry reforms, afforestation, utilization of best practices for the water conservation, and sustainable farm practices. So here is a video from Akashvani, which talks about our climate change. You can see.
पिछले कुछ साल में हम लगातार क्लाइमेट चेंज से जुड़ी चिंताओं को सुनते आ रहे हैं और हाल के वर्षों में भीषण गर्मी और ठंड का सामना भी कर रहे हैं। साल 2022 को हॉटेस्ट समर एवर कहकर पुकारा गया था और 122 साल का रिकॉर्ड टूट गया था। 2023 की गर्मियों को साइंटिस्ट ने पिछले 2000 सालों की हॉटेस्ट समर माना था और 2024 में तो इनको हॉट मंथ एवर माना गया। पिछले महीने भारत, वियतनाम, सिंगापुर, मलेशिया, इंडोनेशिया हर जगह असहनीय तापमान दर्ज किया गया। फिलीपींस में तो तापमान 53 डिग्री सेल्सियस को पार कर गया था। तो चलिए समझने की कोशिश करते हैं उन नेचुरल इफेक्ट्स को जिनकी वजह से मौसम में भारी बदलाव देखने को मिल रहा है। हम बात कर रहे हैं एल नीनो और ला नीना इफेक्ट्स की। एल नीनो की वजह से तापमान गर्म होता है और ला नीना के कारण ठंडा। दोनों आमतौर पर 9 से 12 महीने तक रहते हैं, लेकिन असाधारण मामलों में कई वर्षों तक रह सकते हैं और क्लाइमेट चेंज की वजह से ये और एक्सट्रीम होते जा रहे हैं। स्पेनिश में एल नीनो का मतलब छोटा लड़का होता है। एल नीनो धरती के क्लाइमेट की एक नेचुरल साइकिल है। इस बदलाव के कारण समुद्र की सतह का तापमान सामान्य से बहुत अधिक हो जाता है। ये तापमान सामान्य से 4 से 5 डिग्री सेल्सियस अधिक हो सकता है। पैसिफिक ओशन में सामान्य परिस्थितियों के दौरान ट्रेड विंड्स भूमध्य रेखा के साथ पश्चिम की ओर बहती हैं, जो गर्म पानी को दक्षिण अमेरिका से एशिया की ओर ले जाती है। उस गर्म पानी को बदलने के लिए ठंडा पानी गहराई से ऊपर उठता है। इस प्रक्रिया को अपवेलिंग कहा जाता है। गर्म पानी के कारण पैसिफिक जेट स्ट्रीम अपनी तटस्थ स्थिति से दक्षिण की ओर बढ़ने लगती है। इस बदलाव के साथ उत्तरी अमेरिका और कनाडा के क्षेत्र सामान्य से अधिक शुष्क और गर्म हो जाते हैं, लेकिन अमेरिकी खाड़ी तट दक्षिण पूर्व में इस अवधि में सामान्य से अधिक नमी होती है और बाढ़ ज्यादा हो जाती है। वहीं महत्व होता है छोटी लड़की। ला नीना घटनाओं के दौरान ट्रेड विंड्स सामान्य से भी अधिक तेज होती हैं, जो अधिक गर्म पानी को एशिया की ओर धकेलती हैं। अमेरिका के पश्चिमी तट पर उथल पुथल बढ़ जाती है, जिससे ठंडा पोषक तत्वों से भरपूर पानी सरफेस पर आ जाता है। प्रशांत महासागर का ये ठंडा पानी जेट स्ट्रीम को उत्तर की ओर धकेलता है। इससे दक्षिणी अमेरिका में सूखा और प्रशांत नॉर्थ वेस्ट और कनाडा में भारी बारिश और बाढ़ आती है। ला नीना वर्ष के दौरान सर्दियों का तापमान दक्षिण में सामान्य से अधिक गर्म और उत्तर में सामान्य से अधिक ठंडा होता है। ला नीना के कारण अधिक गंभीर तूफान का मौसम भी आ सकता है। एल नीनो और ला नीना दोनों का मौसम जंगल की आग, इकोसिस्टम और अर्थव्यवस्था पर वैश्विक प्रभाव डाल सकता है।
So you have seen that the climate change, how it affects because of El Nino and La Nino. So these are because of the high temperatures and also because of the extreme weather conditions, floods and cyclones. So which affects a great deal of damage to our environment. And that's the reason we have the forest fires, ecological imbalance. And at the same time, what it relates to the land desertification is most of the time because of the uneven rainfall and also the uneven weather patterns. So especially when you see the crop patterns, we have the monocultural patterns, only a single type of crop varieties. And the soil doesn't fit into that particular crop variety. At the as a matter of the fact, the topsoil fertility will tend to lose its fertility, and whenever the soil loses its fertility, the water, much of the soil has been lost. So there exists a desertification. So these in turn affect not only the soil, the plant condition, and it also affect the biodiversity also, because most of the plants like flora and fauna, which are interrelated, like the bees, honeybees, and butterflies, and insect-eating birds. So these are all get affected because of the land desertification. So land restoration is important for ecosystem restoration, and it is also the key pillar for UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration for the year 2021 to 2030. The United Nations has declared as the Decade of Ecosystem Restoration. Ecosystems, it supports all form of life on Earth. The healthier our ecosystem, the healthier the planet and its people. The UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration aims to prevent and halt and reverse the degradation of ecosystem on every continent and every ocean. It can helps to end the poverty, combat climate change, prevent mass extinction of species. It will be only possible if everyone can play significant impact. It's not an individual role, it's everyone's collective responsibility. Here is the community restoration at high ends, how they have transformed high ends. Here's a grassroots level environment working on the ground, and how they transform with the help of the local community people. We can see it.
Polylepis trees grow along all the high Andes, from Venezuela to the Patagonia. The most captured water what's happening right now. Along all these highlands, the lakes are dry, the watersheds are dry, all the crops are collapsing.
Climate change is hitting everybody across the Andes. Glaciers are melting, water security is becoming a huge issue.
Entonces, eso es nuestro anhelo de seguir cuidando el páramo y proteger en todo el contorno.
To really overcome this climate crisis, we have to think long term.
Our main tool, restoration.
Yo he podido participar yo tenía 17 años en lo que es reforestación de nuestros páramos, en donde hemos sembrado 4,000 a 5,000 plantas el día. La comunidad ya ha dado en cuenta es de que aumentamos la población también en temporadas de verano. Es mucha sequía y ahí de agua. Está algunos vertientes que no están protegidos y debemos seguir protegiendo.
My name is Constantino Auca Chutas. My parents was Incas. Auca means warrior. Action Andina was my dream in 2017.
Tino had the vision of forest protection and planting trees and reforestation across the entire Andean mountain range. That's 7,000 kilometers, 4,500 miles long.
We started to think who can be our main and key partners.
Tino invited us to come to the Andes. He wanted to show us his reforestation festival.
The first day when I saw Florence, I said, look at that gringuito. But he took the seedlings, climbed the mountain, plant the seeds. I said, look at this guy. We need more leaders. And we call, hey, gringuito, come on. Want to be part of this?
And the co-founders of Global Forest Generation said, we're going to help you. Acción Andina is a holistic, regional, continental effort to bring back native forests and to protect the native forests of the high Andes and ecosystems. Today, we're working across Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, Argentina, Chile, soon Colombia, Venezuela. But that's just the beginning.
Estamos en el vivero de Ponce Paluguillo. Lo que hoy día estamos haciendo es ya listando para el día de mañana hacer la restauración en campo donde que ya está especificado los sitios donde que vamos a hacer restauración. Este vivero, estas plantas ya casi están, tenemos casi 8 meses que ya mismo está para la restauración.
From the beginning, this area was full of forests, full of wetlands. The people just cut down all the native forest. They brought eucalyptus from Australia. From Canada, they started to grow pine trees. It was the magic formula. But later, the people started to see that those species started to suck the water. They took all the nutrients of the soil. For that reason, the areas where grows those species totally dry. We are united by only one principle, one tree, Polylepis tree, that grows from Venezuela to South Patagonia. Everybody knows. People call it in different ways. Jaguar, quinoa, queuña, queguiña. This friend is a Polylepis incanes. Polylepis produce many different ecoservices. Capture water, retain soil, also is the home of a lot of species that lives here. Polylepis has all this moss covering annually. All the rain that comes is going to be captured by the moss and the other vegetation that grows around all these forests. In that way, we are securing the water for all the people who lives down the mountain.
Con la reforestación que se haga, se podrá recuperar más agua y eso beneficia mucho a la población.
The program in Acción Andina is benefiting more than 30,000 families.
After just 5 years, we've planted over 10 million native trees. We've restored thousands of hectares.
And the common goal, of course, is the Mother Earth.
The whole Acción Andina project is a celebration. It brings people together and it brings that hope out and that conviction that we can tackle any challenge. Acción Andina is not a short-term project. Acción Andina is a 100-year project. We need decades, if not more, to restore ecosystems.
The planet needs more leaders. We needed more Lauras, more ladies, more Fernandos, more. They are going to be the leaders that are in my position.
Entonces, eso es que nuestro anhelo de seguir cuidando el páramo y proteger todo el contorno.
Menos el agua.
Sembrar una planta es tener una vida para el mundo, porque no vamos a beneficiar más siempre, porque el agua va para todos.
Sorry, I lost a connection. Just a moment, I'm scaring the screen. So finally, restoring our land and preventing from safeguarding our planetary Earth species is not a single job, it's a collective effort. And moreover, according to Article 51 AG, it shall be the fundamental duty of every citizen to protect our lakes, rivers, wildlife, and to have a passion towards all living creatures. So let's hope for a better future and sustainable Earth with all your collective efforts. Remember, your small effort can make a significant difference in reviving our ecosystem. So with that, I am ending my presentation. Thank you once again for Ravindra sir and also the participant for so patiently listening to me. I'm so sorry we're having a heavy rain here, so that's the reason in the middle of that we have some interruption. Kindly excuse me, and thank you once again for everyone. Thanks a lot. This
Congratulations, Pradeep. Very well presented. Participants, if you have any queries, feel free to share your feedback, chat box, or you can raise your hand. There are no queries or suggestions. Actually, this day is very important nowadays. Any day, especially related to environment, we are not understanding the seriousness of the environment, the kind of impact it is creating, as it has manifold effects. We are not, because unfortunately the media is also not playing the right role it has to play. From morning to evening, you see all kind of nonsense in the media. Except sense, we have everything on. So there is no content that makes any proper sense, which has a priority today. Of course, everything has a sense. But what is priority? If there are no human beings, who is going to watch TV? Who is going to use mobile? Who is going to use satellites? Who is going to read all these, published books and research papers? Who is going to, enjoy this infrastructure? Animals don't need, plants don't need all these kind of things. They are very happy within their own And even within no time, one space storm can destroy and clear all the debris. And even one great disaster can wipe out all the infrastructure on the planet. Now, what we need to understand is in what way we are contributing to the planet. When we are talking about sustainable development, whether that is part of the planet or not part of the planet. The very first question we have to put to ourselves is whether anything which are adding to the planet is part of the planet, is adding to the planet or not, adding value to the planet or not. And the second question is whether it is only the human beings that is going to be benefited or someone else along with it or partially, completely. If yes, what kind of benefits it takes. And the third thing is how much resources it consumes. And to the ratio, how much benefits and how much resource it is giving back to the nature. And whether finally the fourth one, of course we have a lot of questions, but finally fourth one, how long it is sustainable with the existing resources, including the replenishment of resources naturally, recycling to the bearing capacity of the planet. When we think about this, we will not do any harm to the planet. We think everything is unlimited, but nothing is unlimited on this planet. We also die one day. You cannot live forever. Or for that matter, no planet, no species on Earth can live forever. Of course, there are certain exceptions where, you really need to consider certain things where they are there to protect. There are certain things, but certain living beings also, but to protect the nature and environment. They have a duty to perform. So it is a high time to realize, seeing the various reports and looking at various things that are happening. It is high time we all need to realize, and this is the day. And we all need to come up, talk about various initiatives that can be taken up, various ideas, no matter it is a small or big, doesn't matter. But come with innovations, come with novelty, come with ideas which can bring change. It doesn't matter if it is a new idea, old idea. At least you have some idea of how to bring change. And that bringing change has to come from within ourselves first. Because when we start implementing, incorporating, people will also see that and implement by themselves. Our children will follow us. When we are doing, automatically our children will see that. And they will also see the benefits that it is giving. And then automatically they will follow and they will also promote it. But unfortunately, the kind of media that is content that is being portrayed and the kind of priorities that media is setting to, and the kind of polarization that is happening in media also is creating a huge crisis. Because there is one aspect here. The survival of media also depends on investment nowadays. Earlier, it was seen as a philanthropy, charity, more of values and ethics. But nowadays, it has become a purely business. Now, why we all can question why media is supposed to be very true, but at the end of the day, there are tens, hundreds, thousands of employees, maintenance, that all needs to be taken care of. And to survive, and they also have this kind of rat race that is happening, breaking, exclusive news, sensational news. So all these kind of, and people, and why this happens? Because of the people choices for the content. We are not looking for the content, unfortunately, which really helps us, which really contributes to the sustainability. We are looking for content which is not at all productive, which are counterproductive. That's why more of such content is aired or telecasted or presented on media. The same question when I was student, I posed to my professor, why your media has to portray or present such content? There are so many priorities. Now, why? Still that priorities are not focused. People are not watching them. Then what is the point in doing? The first point is, yes, we can present that content, but when there is no viewership, then there is no sponsors. No, media is entirely run by advertisements, sponsors. Now, when there is no sponsor, when there is no advertisement, then how you will generate revenue? That where entire gamut of play comes, not only in media. We have so many conferences, so many themes, so many titles set up. Now, our platform is an exemption because we don't take any funding or sponsorship. Now, when someone is organizing a conference, even we also organize in various settings, other organization, academic, hospital, and all. But when we will organize, we in the sense, the entire, not just me, I'm excluding this platform. Only when we get some funding. And who is funding that? And who is deciding what to fund, what not to fund? Again, the industry is funding. When industry is funding, what industry wants? To promote its products and services, to support it. That's why the research also has taken a wrong direction. They want, through you, through all of us, only to talk about what is beneficial for them. We are not funded to criticize them. We are not funded to show the truths, to bring out the facts, so that it can become counterproductive to them or their production process or to the product and service delivery. Now, this is where, unless and until we understand what is happening in reality, is very difficult. Now, why the traditional medicine is not promoted? The question comes, why sustainability is not promoted? Why the natural products are not promoted? Why organic products are not promoted? If you put question to yourself, then now you will understand. If there is no consumption that is involved, see why sustainable practices are not promoted in agriculture? Because you need to invest. You need to make people invest so much. Equipment, seeds, artificial lab-produced seeds, not from which are collected from the fields. And you need fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, not from the bioorganic manure. And you need technology, people to buy technology, technological tools, which are very costly. And that needs investment, and you need to buy them. So, like that, you see, you take any field, any domain, it is promoted only when there is an interest for the business or the industry. Even governments also. You know, UN, United Nations World Health Organization, every day it says, you know, alcohol is the #1 killer, but government itself produces, manufactures and sells alcohol. And it itself gives licenses to the shops to sell alcohol. And it itself mandates everyone to give advertisements, alcohol is injurious to. And this is the greatest fun, or we can say the comedy that government plays. You know, they themselves are killing, giving you poison and saying, no, this is poison, this is not good for your health, and you drink as much as you want. Now, who is going to decide whether to drink or not? If you decide, if I decide, if we all decide not to drink, automatically tomorrow there will be no manufacturing of liquor or, you know, distilled products. But there is a lot of propaganda, lot of promotion that happens, you know, and they are recruited even in the society to promote people, especially they recruit drinkers. And if not drinkers, they are looking for opportunities, who want funding or who want position, who want status, or who are looking for some kind of opportunities. They recruit them, and through them, they promote these kind of practices of inculcating the habit of drinking and making it an obligation. And that's how, you know, every event without an alcohol, without meat, without drugs. You know, drugs doesn't mean the narcotic and psychotic drugs. Drugs can also mean simple things, which are not to that extent, but still can act as a psychosubstance. Like, this ganja, marijuana, and so many things are there which are grown in the forest. And, they are grown by the tribals because they earn income from it. And they don't know, in spite of knowing it is illegal, many people are involved and they support us. Especially the tribals, to grow such things. And they recruit and they use it in manufacturing process. Now, who is responsible for this? Now, today, recent report says, even in school children are using drugs. We see every day there are some or other news where children are caught using drugs. Now, what is the future of our nation? What is the future of our planet? Where we are going? Are we really moving towards sustainability? Are we really moving towards better future? What about our health and well-being? So the young children who are about 10 to 15 years, they themselves are consuming drugs, alcohol, and smoking, tobacco consumption, and so many things. Then what they will do, how productive their life will be, what values, what role models they will be promoting. So all these plays an important role in protection of environment. Especially, we have seen how alcohol, we have seen how tobacco consumption, we have seen how this consumption of or abuse of drugs is also creating an impact in the environment. So there is nothing that is not related. Even our act of even watching unnecessary video content like movies or soaps in the device also creates carbon footprint. Do you know? 1 hour of usage of mobile also has a carbon footprint. 1 hour of using laptop, 1 hour of using any other electronic gadget, electrical appliance, electronic appliance is also adding to carbon footprint. Are we really conscious how much we are contributing? Sometimes there is a opinion that accessibility today world is little bit safe because of accessibility, not accessible. But unfortunately, we think when accessibility becomes easier, people start abusing it. When people start abusing it, that's where the disadvantages of that come up, and that overruns the benefits. In similar ways, we need to question ourselves, ponder on various questions, whether it is good or not, whether it is useful or not, and how far we are able to contribute to it. So all these are different aspects that can be presented, taken up. Why I'm giving you these ideas is you can come up with various topics of the presentations. So there is n number of present topics you can choose. So feel free to come forward and make presentations in various topics. You'll have a lot of topics. Don't think whether this topic is small, big. Just contact us. We'll help you if you have any kind of ambiguity. That's why we ask you to send your PPTs in advance. That's why we ask you to share your titles in advance, so that we can tell you if anything is inappropriate. We can help you in reframing or changing the content, which can be more appropriate. Of course, ours is a very wide platform, which covers a wide range of products, teams, services, topics, disciplines, faculties. You can present anything, but whenever there is a special event that is organized, in that event we should be very much relevant. Other days, like we have webinar series, you can take up any topic and present. There is no restriction on that. But when we are commemorating on Environment Day, you can use these days exclusively for such topics. So that is where you can choose your topic. So where you have wide selection. Now, if you have some off topic, you can also use it on another. There is no restriction. But every idea, you can utilize this opportunity to explore and make presentations. So hope these presentations have benefited you, will not take much time. And if anyone has any feedback, feel free to share. It's already 9, so we'll conclude it here. And soon there will be a quiz that will be floated tomorrow or day after tomorrow. We request everyone to attempt the quiz by the end of the conference. It will be live. You can attempt the entire year. 2024 is there. So you can attempt it at any time. The quiz will be live for the entire year, but as early as possible if you can fill it. So that will help you. See, most of the quizzes are an attempt to make you learn. At least by reading the question, you can see that you can learn something. So that is we want you to learn something through quiz. At least you know, doesn't know, you are aware of that. That is the reason we have put so many questions. At least you'll spend, some time, half an hour, or some people say we have spent 1 hour. But it was, a very good learning, because they were also going through, trying to explore, spend some time. And in that way also they are getting benefited. So it doesn't matter how many questions it is, but it is part of learning. So take it in that way, whether it may be 10 questions, 20 questions, 30 questions, 50 questions, doesn't matter. But always build the curiosity of learning. So open for feedback. If anyone has, you can raise your hand or use chat box. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Ravindra sir, for providing us such a valuable information, and also like this platform. I have learned many things because I'm a person expertise in animal welfare and environment. So here in the platform, everyone have their domain expertise. So vary from social work to any academician, professionals. So what my sincere suggestion is, like, you can present your knowledge through PPT, like Ravindra sir had said, so that we can also learn from you. It's like a two-way, like you can learn from me, I can learn from you, so that we can help each other and contribute for much more like any problem-oriented things or solution-oriented things. So we can exchange our views, we can enhance our learning skills. And also by presenting here, you can also improve your presentation skills also. So it's a sir is a very encouraging person, and he can, like, I would be more happy like if more presentations can come from. I'll be more happy to participate in the session. So looking forward, everyone, for your sincere contributions, because I see many of the participants are there. They are from very different, diverse background. So every knowledge expertise, domain expertise can add a significant value and proportion. Your knowledge can help others to learn. So that's all. Thank you, Ravindra sir. That's my feedback.
Thank you, Pradeep, and congratulations. And we wish you all the success for your future presentations.
Surely, sir, definitely. More happy to contribute to this platform. Whatever knowledge I have, I'll surely help out.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all the participants for joining us on this wonderful event. I know this is a very short time which we have announced. That's why, many have expressed their inability to prepare within a short time. But still, we are putting a good efforts and we are getting good appreciation also. Whatever the content that is being presented is very informative, educative, with your feedbacks that we are receiving. We are happy that, we are able to sustain and keep that spirit of learning. So thank you everyone. Once again, we request everyone to fill the feedback form and try to complete as early as possible. We are keeping it open for at least 10 minutes so that you all can fill it. So we request everyone to quickly start filling it up. So now the feedback form is open. So the feedback form will be there for next 10 minutes. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form. It is mandatory for the certificates. See, entire process of certificates is automatically handled by system. So it is important that we all need to follow the system. And to enter our details in the system so that we can get our certificates. Manually doing is a very laborious process which takes time. So, and also time, not only yours time, but also ours, time, resources, and efforts, additional efforts. Instead of that, we can use this opportunity to complete in time. So happy World Environment Day once again. Before leaving, we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form with all details. Don't leave any details. Don't enter vague details. Don't enter incomplete, invalid details. We have seen, we are also informed that incomplete, invalid, vague details will not be considered. So fill it. Don't be in a hurry. You got enough time to fill the feedback form. Don't be in a hurry. Fill the feedback form properly before leaving the platform. and see you all tomorrow at the same time. And we'll have daily sessions till Sunday. We have this conference. So utilize this opportunity to make presentations. And maybe we thought in the next month, if possible, or after, or in the last week, because we have one more event. It is Yoga Day is also coming up. So we'll float one, we are planning one day conference, one world, that is International Yoga Day. So we request everyone, those who are interested, to make presentations on yoga, or if you are a yoga practitioner, we have yoga protocol also. If you can demonstrate yoga protocol on that day, that can also be presentation. So we invite you all to use these opportunities, and I invite you all to join. And if you are a yoga practitioner, you can demonstrate it, or you can present a paper or post it on various topics related to yoga. So the registration form will be shared today or tomorrow on various platforms. You can also visit our website to register in advance so that we can have good time. Now that we have another 15 days of time, so you can participate and gain knowledge. And we will also try. Last year, we have invited one of yoga guru, and he also demonstrated asanas. We will also see if we can have such arrangements, depending on the presentations. If presenters are good enough in terms of quality and quantity, we can have by the presenters itself, so that they also get an opportunity. And especially, you may need not have any academic qualifications. So because these are ancient practices, you might have learned from your parents, grandparents. That is one. Otherwise, also, if you have studied yoga courses, even through universities or informal or informal, you're also eligible. And age is also not a criteria. So don't think that even children can also participate and present. So if your children, or if your anyone relatives who are practicing yoga, you can invite them, and we'll put an extra effort also to ensure that everyone is getting certificate. Anyway, the rules and regulations should be said, but we'll also try, because that is also contributing to everyone. We'll also try to follow up with you and ensure that you all get certificates, those who are participating and present. So don't worry about certificates. Will come one day or the other if you follow all the formalities. And we'll also soon organize, we are also planning to organize in the coming months one dedicated day in a month where you all can discuss or call us on this platform. Actually, we have kept it also earlier, but there was no, we have kept one day in a month, but on that day there were no much queries actually. So we felt that there is no need for that, because everything was there on the website, and we are also explaining how to do it. So unless and until deliberately or wantedly you don't want to do it, otherwise there is no reason that you are not getting certificate or deliberately delaying it beyond that. Otherwise there is no reason. So this has been observed since quite long time. But anyway, there are new participants also joining, keep joining almost all the time. So we thought, because in the recent months we did not organize because there was no need for such. But after a long time, we are also planning. One day we will announce it, and whoever has any difficulty will show you. And we can also show you what mistake you have done and why you did not get your certificate. We can show you openly by opening the data and what was the mistake you have done and how to rectify. You all know how to rectify. Just fill it again properly. That is a simple remedy. Because we are giving opportunity to all of you to enter your data multiple times. But don't make it more complex by entering wrong multiple times. So try, if you found any mistake, you can re-enter and wait for that. It doesn't happen in a real-time generation. It takes time because every day there is work for us. So it doesn't happen every day unless and until it is active. Once certificates are generated, again it will be generated after 1 week, 1 month, and so on. It is not on day-to-day basis. So that's why I request everyone to complete it before the event closes so that everyone gets in the first batch of certificates only. Again, if you don't complete, you have to wait for another 1 week or 1 month and so on. So you can use rest of the days. Also, we have another 4 days. You can come up with various ideas, presentations. So thank you once again, everyone. Quickly fill up the feedback form before you leave the platform. Take care. Good night. If you are not able to see feedback screen, feedback form, maybe you have accidentally closed it. You can quickly log off and log in, or you can access it from the polls quizzes menu. At the bottom of the screen, you'll have an option, polls quizzes. In that, you can see active polls. There you can find the link. And especially those who are attending from mobiles, kindly make sure you are active on the screen. Sometimes while you are doing some other thing, suddenly Windows pops up and you suddenly close it, or suddenly by touch of fingers, it may get closed. So be conscious, alert on that.